Top of the morning to you. Today we're going to talk about the order of life or God's order in this place we call Earth or whatever, wherever the fuck we are, yeah? God has, or consciousness has an order, yeah? It's apparent when you look around you, you can see this order, yeah? If you don't know that there is an order, this is not for you. Okay, so, but I'm talking to Jedis and high level thinkers, so you know what I mean. So, in essence, this place that we are inhabiting right now, yeah, in God's mind, has an order, yeah, and we're gonna go through it, and we will go through it, and we will get to the point where you can see the zeros and the ones, yeah. Okay, so where's my trusty pencil? Right. So, right, hold on. So this is God. Yeah? The pair. God is an energy that kind of inverts on itself and reflects itself. Yeah? We'll touch on that in a bit. The best example of, or something I can use to describe it, is the yin and yang, yeah? Because they are equal yet opposite, but the opposites exist within the opposites. So it's kind of like equal and opposite at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Okay. In the center of this somewhere is where consciousness, the energy actually exists. Yeah. This is a pair. Yeah. This is the reason why we talk about pairs and couples. We'll get to that because pairing and coupling are energetic terms. They are not human terms. So any dancers that think that, oh, a couple means is to do with humans. Yeah. Anyway, so you've got this dual energy, yeah? Energy that has two expressions. It's one energy, but has two expressions, but it's one pair, okay? Now, from that point, we can kind of deduce and kind of simplify these two aspects, right? Because God can't come in here in his raw form. He has to come in here in a simplified form. So he breaks himself down into positive, negative, north and south, whatever you like, yeah? It's the same concept because we're talking about electromagnetism, yeah? So this will be the electricity and this will be the magnet, okay? Now, from this perspective, we always talk about as within, so without, yeah? A lot of people use these metaphysical terms, but they don't really understand it, yeah? Which it basically means that everything that you see on the outside is happening inside of you. Everything that's happening inside of you is happening outside of you simultaneously, yeah? Okay, so if you look at the reality, we see a sun, which runs a cycle. We see a moon that also runs a cycle, yeah? This is what we experience, which means that this very same cycle of the sun and the moon rising and falling, yeah, exists within us. Are we clear so far? Okay. So with that being said, what do we have? We have one energy that we call the sun. It's very direct, very forceful, yeah? Hot, yeah? It's very predictable, yeah? And it runs in a very kind of simplified pattern, east to west, essentially it's going around in a circle, but it's from where you are on this plane, it appears to be setting, but it's just going around in a circle. It's a cycle. Now, once you see this, there's also the moon, which is the same size as this. It also rises from east to west, but the moon is slightly different. Yeah, it runs on a different cycle. Yeah, it rises slightly later than this. It also has phases. Yeah, it's indirect because it actually goes behind the veil and then comes back and stuff like that. Yeah, and in essence, it's a cooler energy. Yeah. Also, this energy has a magic trick that it can appear during the day. The sun can never appear during the night. Yeah. So if we're to simplify these two aspects as the masculine and feminine, you recognize that, okay, the sun is the masculine, yeah, north, positive, solar, direct, forceful, and hot, yeah. These are just some of the attributes. This is day. The sun rules the day. The moon rules the night. The moon is indirect, is gentle, is cold. That's a lunar. South, negative lunar, yeah? But the lunar has extra powers. We'll talk about that in a minute, yeah? When they fuse together, they blend day and night together, yeah? When you have your eclipses, especially like a solar one, yeah? That's what happens because it's part day, part night at the same time. So day and night themselves are just one thing, yeah? There's no separation between day and night. Guys, we can't talk this no separation thing affects everything. It's the thread. Yeah, okay. So day and night fuse together. The stars are always there. The stars travel with the moon, yeah? The only time you see the sun during the day is when this is actually obscured by that. Yeah? So in essence, think of the stars as the children, as the neutral energy, because they're always present across the board. Yeah. So we've got two energies. Was one energy expressing in two different forms, running two different cycles. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, solar, it rules the day. As I said, it expels the night. Lunar, it rules the night. It travels with her offspring. It's second to solar in the day, because when we see the moon during the day, it doesn't command the day. The sun still commands the day and dictates the way the day goes, yeah? Okay. So when you think about it, they are a pair, yeah? It's a couple. In energy, we speak about pairing and we speak about coupling and decoupling, yeah? My electricians and engineers in the building, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? So we are a pair. So in essence, the cycle of the pair is what we see with day and night. Yeah. It's just one thing. Okay. Good. We're getting somewhere. So essentially, if you think of it as the prism of light hits the light hits the prism. The light of consciousness hits the prism, but it has to break itself down into kind of like smaller, understandable bits for our perception. Yeah. Because it's us, but it has to fragment itself, right? And the two energies expressing include day and night, sun and moon, north and south, positive, negative, man and woman, yeah? But it's one thing. Okay. So with this pairing of energy, when they pair, they produce offspring, yeah? But also, one thing I need you to take note of is the fact that you have the feminine energy in the masculine and the masculine energy in the feminine here, okay? Just bear that in mind for a second. Now, when this very same energy splits itself into man and woman, yeah, which is just, as within, so without, is the same with the sun and the moon. It's just another reflection of consciousness having experience here, yeah? You have man and woman. The man plays the role of the observer or the experiencer, yeah? The woman plays the role of the portal, yeah? The physical portal, the access point, yeah? Okay, we'll get to that. Now, when you think about portals, let me talk about portals for a second. What is a portal? A portal it has the word port in it. To my French people, ouvrir la porte, ferme la porte. Port is door, yeah? A door is an access point, is a gateway. It's a way to get from point A to B. Yeah, and it requires energy in order for you to go through that door from point A to B. Yeah. In theoretical physics, they talk about wormholes and black holes, even though we know it's all bollocks because it's all theory and it's not real. But in essence, the concept is there. Yeah. So you have a point where you can go in and reappear somewhere else. Okay. That's what the female represents here. The masculine represents the thing that knows the portal, uses the portal, accesses the portal, and respawns. Yeah? But it doesn't respawn as itself. It respawns as a different energy called neutral, because there's no physicality. It's all to do with energy. If you took away your skin suit, in essence, you will see this direct form of energy, yeah? Approach another indirect energy, which will be the portal, and go and it will reappear on the other side of the portal as a totally different energy. That's how God spawns here. This is God's order. Okay. Now, with that in mind, you realize that all modes, like a portal is also a mode of transport, because a door is the way to, it's a door, yeah? Every portal, doorway, bridge, hack, mode of transport, they're the same thing, yeah? This is why if you look at the etymology of all modes of transport, they're all referred to as her or female, yeah? So ships are female, planes are female, lorries are female, cars are female. I mean, we live in a modern time where everything is gay, yeah? And men want to shave their legs and wear thongs, and women want to stand up and pee. So in essence, now I don't know if that's the same, but I know that in the original order, that's how it is. Modes of transport are referred to as female. This is why you see truckers with a female, what do you call it, Europa, or like a drawing of a graffiti of some sort of like cowgirl or something on there. Yeah, because we know that the female is the transport vessel, yeah? And the male is the energy that's driving that transport vessel. No one is better than the other, because that energy without the transport is going nowhere, and the transport without energy is going nowhere. Okay. So this is why all modes of transport are referred to as she or her. Yeah, we've covered that. Now, in any new reality, what tends to happen? Let's think of any frontier, like any new place, yeah? New uncharted territory. What happens? In any new and uncharted territory, what tends to happen, even if you think about some of the historical texts that are not true? Guys, let me have a sip of green tea with lemon. Where's my honey? Let me dip up. Actually, I can't reach it. I can't be fucked. So, any new frontier, when you think about it, even from something so basic as you laying in bed with your partner, yeah, or being in the house with your husband or whatever. When you hear downstairs, it'll be like, whoa, what's happened? The masculine, yeah, if he's masculine, will be the one to go and inspect, because it's a new experience, it's a new frontier. He has the direct, forceful, aggressive energy to counter it and establish order, or re-establish the prevailing order there. True or false? Because why don't you send your kid downstairs when you hear like noise downstairs in your house? Why don't you send your girl? Like, it's dumb. It's you. It's like the sun has to rise in the morning in order to do forceful, aggressive sun shit. Yeah. And establish the order of the day in order for the moon and the offspring to be able to enjoy it. Or the sun has to establish the prevailing order outside of this dimension here. The same thing applies to you, Mr. Masculine. So with that in mind, you realize that with any frontier, the masculine has to be the one to go and clear the ground, yeah? Even when you think about people in the 1600s or 1400s when traveling, looking for the Silk Road or going to, the Horn of Africa, East Africa, wherever it is, if, you want to go down that road, it was the males that went. Yeah, those ships didn't have females on board. It was full of males. So the males have that energy to go there and establish order, yeah? Like go and find a new world, establish the order, right? We clear this bit, we weed this bit, we plant things over there. We're going to build put buildings over there. That's where we're going to sleep. Those are the predators. We're going to scare them away. And then we establish an order, and then the female can then join and provide portals for us to keep expanding there. That's how it works. That's God's order, yeah? So when you look at it from this perspective, you realize that in any new reality, the first thing that has to happen is the masculine expression must discover, it must establish order in order for the second step, which is for the feminine expression to express and create portals, doorways, access points. Yeah? for expansion of this. It's not about male or female, bro. It's the same thing. Yeah, but one has to do a job, another also has a job to do. They work together in tandem. Yeah? Okay. So, even from a common sense perspective, if there's no boner, there's no baby. Okay? It's common sense. There is an order. Yeah? Females don't penetrate men, men penetrate females. So the men have to go into that new territory, establish an order, yeah, and then put something in that gateway for life to continue. Even from a base kind of explanation, yeah. Any other way is impossible. It's literally impossible any other way, yeah. Okay. And even from a kind of like fake science standpoint, they talk about the fact that the sun energizes the moon. Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's true. But we can use that as some sort of like reference point. So just to capture what we've discussed so far, the energy of God or consciousness travels, is one pure thing. But in order for it to experience this dreamscape called Earth, it has to split itself into its dual nature, masculine, feminine, north and south, direct, indirect, yeah, and come here. In order for any new territory to for the wheels of the kind of process to start, the masculine has to go in there and establish an order. That order is written in the masculine energy. It's not written in the masculine flesh or the mind. It's written in masculine energy. When we take all the masculine energy in the world, yeah, from a mouse right down to a whale, yeah, and everything in between, include and add the sun and everything else. Males have a way of expressing, yeah, and females have a way of expressing. Okay, so these, if you take those two things, you can essentially see how yin and yang pairs together. Now, there is something that I need you to realize also, that because all is mind and it's just one experience, right? Say you're a man, yeah, and you're looking at the reality. It's in your mind, but there are women in your world, right? Where did those women come from? Or you're a woman and there's men in your world. Where did they come from? So, even though it's dual in nature, each aspect is also dual in nature. So, the masculine will have feminine in its core. The feminine has masculine in its core. So, if the female is looking at the mirror of reality and populating it with its mind, yeah, the observer, and creating the reality, of course it's going to see masculine in there, because the masculine is also within it as an expression. See, the beauty of consciousness and God and how God operates is so amazing. It's like, even when you break it down, the code still exists. What I'm describing to you is fractals, guys. So you have one thing that is two things, but the one thing, so it's one thing that's two things. And if you were to take the two things apart, the two things, yeah, and make them one separate thing, you know, one thing here, that one thing is also two things. So it's irreducible. Yeah, it's irreducible. You can't go past that point. Yeah. So God's order, yeah, as we see with the sun and the moon, yeah, has to be maintained. It has to be maintained. Males have to be males and females have to be females. This whole idea, yeah, that, you know, gay and fucking lesbian and two women, even in their fucking insanity, right? They're using male appendages to have sex with each other. That gives it away that they're still looking for that direct, forceful energy, you know? But because they're in insanity and they've lost their fucking minds, they're behaving like degenerates and demons, they are doing that and they think it's normal. It's not. It's going against the order of God. Yeah, two men, two direct energies having sex with each other goes against the order of God. It goes against the order of this entire place. It's anti-life. It's actually degenerate. Are we gonna argue about it? No. Okay. So once we recognize that, it's like, okay, so the one energy has two different expressions. Okay. And even the two different expressions, they still have a core part of them, yeah, which is part of the energy's expression, which is the opposite side of the thing. So whether you're looking at just a female or just a male, you're still seeing the wholeness of God in that one being. Yeah? Okay. So now we got to the point where we're going to talk about the portals and the observer. So like I said, the masculine energy usually is the first. He has to observe and then establish the order, and then the portals will get introduced. These are very simple kind of drawings that I'm trying to use, right? So the observer is the experiencer of the portal, but there are a couple of rules that have to exist. First thing is there has to be an awareness of where the portal. Yeah. There also has to be an awareness of the workings of the portal. There also has to be an awareness of the location of the exit. Yeah. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the portal. You wouldn't be able to. Yeah. So God in itself is part observer, part portal. So God is basically these two things, and the relationship between them. This is what God actually is. This is consciousness in a nutshell. So we don't know what's powering this, and we don't know what's powering that. But essentially, it's this thing. It observes, yeah, itself within this portal and creates realities within this portal. That's what happens, yeah. But this thing can also observe. It's so crazy how it works. This thing also has the ability to observe, yeah, and create observers to actually populate as a portal. It's mental. It's mental. And like I said, in any new reality, the masculine has to go there and establish the kind of like the order, yeah. The order is also within this. So females can also establish order, but that order is the order of the whole, the masculine energy, the masculine feminine order. Do you get it? Now, so this is the observer. Now, if we're going to talk about the portal, yeah, the rabbit hole, yeah, the female energy is connected to both worlds at the same time. And it can be in both worlds at the same time. That's a female energy. If you think I'm lying, this is why you can see the moon during the day and you will never see the sun at night. Because the sun only occupies one world. The sun is literally barred from part of the sky. Well, not part of the sky, but it's once it does its loop and it's gone and night comes, he's barred. He can't show up. Whereas the moon, even though it travels or rises later to this, it actually can be here whilst this guy is also here. It actually can also dip out of the reality and come back in. This is why females are typically known as oracles. You know, even that in itself, this very action proves that females are portals, because this moon was here a few days ago. Now it's gone and we're literally seeing it disappear. It's going, it's leaving this dimension. Yeah. You see? So we all have very specific roles, right? There is no separation. It's just an interplay. The interplay is how consciousness spawns itself. You know, it's just because so many of us are attached to the flesh, so we keep thinking in terms of the flesh. When you think in terms of energy, there is actually a massive dance that's just happening with pure energy, right? So if you imagine this dreamscape, Earth as a prism, you have pure consciousness, the light of pure energy or consciousness, God hitting this prism, right? It's pure energy and it's literally just running this this dance. It breaks itself down, then it fragments itself, then it fragments, and it's that's literally what it's doing, bro. So when we go against the order of God, right? Number one, you only go against the order of God when you live in flesh, because you live in illusion, because you think you are God, but you are not God. You are flesh. Do you see? So when you say, I am gay, or I'm lesbian, or I'm trans, or whatever, and then I'm an ex-man, but then now I'm with an ex-woman, it's just an inversion of the law. It's just an inversion of the order. That's all it is, right? That's all it is, bro. Because no matter what happens, even if before the sun rises, yeah, and we see the moon in the sky, we know that the moon is not going to rule the day. Or when the sun is up in the sky and the moon is there as well, we know that the moon is not ruling the day. The moon rules the night. We all know that. The moon rules the realm of the unseen. We know that. But the moon has the capability to actually be in both realms at the same time. This is the female energy, the female expression of consciousness. You see? So when you're a female, you're occupying a body, a female body. And I say things like, God is a man. And no, I'm inciting you to just think about it from the perspective of energy, right? Because God is both things at the same time. God is not man or woman. God is just pure energy. But the energy, when it just fragments itself into two, right? That's what we see as man and woman. But we are a pair. We are a couple. We are one thing that has to work together, yeah, for God's experience. So when men and women are fighting each other and they're clawing each other's eyes out, yeah, and they're calling each other bitches and fucking, you're a fucking arsehole and this and this and that and blah, 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 blah. We're doing this shit, right? Don't forget that this masculine energy within you is what you have projected outside. As within, so without. So the thing that you're fighting is the thing that you're fighting yourself, okay? And then if you think that all women are bitches and that's what you're seeing, so you're fighting yourself. Because in essence, you are one thing. We are one thing. Even though we have this suit to separate us, there's really no separation, bro. You know? So when Eve, Lucifer, humans and illusions are fighting against anything in the mirror or the reality, it only destroys their time, their health, and their life experience, bro. That's all that's happening. You're just destroying this thing. Because you're trying to do the will of this thing, not the will of this. You see? So, yeah. That's literally what's happening. Okay?